everyone from my trivia channel here in lovely Yorktown, Virginia. And I know there's a lot of new home buyers out there these days. And this is one tip. This house here was bought in 1979. It was brand new, so it's 41 years old. And I want to give you a really good tip. Whether or not it's the best tip ever, I don't know if that's clickbait or not, but I'll let you decide. But this is a really good tip. It is: plan your trees out for the next 40 years, from now till 2060. What do I mean by that? Don't plant any trees, large trees, near your home. I think a good rule of thumb is about 30 feet, ones that will grow higher than 30 feet. And if you do, plant them toward the back edges of your property, away from the house, so it's a problem for your neighbors. I'm just kidding. But in all seriousness, though, by the way, my name is John Hamilton. I'm a freelance writer here in Virginia. And my dad was Air Force, so we moved around quite a bit. We also were fortunate to live in England for 3 years, travel into Canada, most of the states, because we drove everywhere. And I've seen it thousands of times. These large trees become such a hassle. I'll give you one quick example with this house. Hurricane Isabel hit here in Virginia in 2003. Or was it 2004? Well, it's been that long. But we had a silver maple in the back. And that silver maple, our house, you want to find out, get a compass or find out on March 21st or September 21st where your house faces due east and due west. You want to know that information. And we had a silver maple in the back facing west, and Hurricane Isabel came in, and you probably know they spin counterclockwise, and knocked that silver maple over. It missed our house, and we had a brand new porch on the back that was just put on that week by inches. So fortunately, Dad had planted that one far enough back that we just missed it. I mean, literally, we put that porch up the day before that big hurricane, because I remember the builder and his son, we told him to take the screens out, because they put the screens in. We said, well, that's not a very smart idea, because the hurricane's tomorrow. So they were nice enough. They took the screens back out and set it down, because they would have all been damaged, because that was quite a storm. And here's a little tidbit of unusual information. The son was a preacher and the dad was a world archery champion. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. But anyway, back to this. But you think about these tall trees that become like 100 feet, 200 feet high. You don't want those in your yard. In fact, sit down and draw a map out with your house and where you would like to put your trees. And consider other factors too. For example, we've got 2 pecan trees, which we really like, or pecan if you live up north. And I think they're worth it. They filter light from the west. They're not real tall, but on the other hand, you do have to clean up the pecans every other year and the pods every year. So there's a trade-off there, but I think the beauty is worth it. We've got a juniper tree and that's a good idea. It is not even quite 30 feet. I think it's more like 20, 25. That's a good one. But we had a tulip poplar. Another tree that was a big problem was a tulip poplar right next to our garage on the north side. And we didn't know it was going to, it turned into a huge tree. Now, I'm not talking about the saucer magnolia, I'm talking about the other tulip poplar, the big one. It turned into a huge tree, and the roots, I think I measured it to 8 feet from our house. It started damaging the foundation, started getting into the pipes. I mean, it would turn into a real bad situation, so we had to have it taken out. Nowadays, a tree taken out every time, $3,000. I mean, you used to think it was expensive when it was $1,000. Now you're talking $3,000, and that happened quickly. Who knows how much it's going to be 40 years from now? Think about how much trees are going to cost 40 years. Probably $15,000 to get each tree taken out. So you need to look at that. If you have a bunch of trees you need to take out, you might be talking $100,000. So really, really map it out. Pick out some trees that you don't mind cleaning up after. Go for beauty and the aesthetics, but also consider the cleanup. I'm a raker. I don't mind. I like to rake the yard anyway, so some people don't. We have another tulip tree, the one called the saucer magnolia out front, and that's a great tree, and it's probably, I look at it right now, it's probably 25 feet. And that's a good height as well. But good rule of thumb, then, nothing above 30 feet, no big trees within 30 feet, let's say 10 yards, probably more, 15 yards of your house, all the way to the ends of your property. If you have it, now we've got a third of an acre, which is a pretty good sized lot. A lot of your newer lots are like a fifth of an acre. So, you know, you're pretty close. They're cramming these houses together. In that case, I wouldn't even dream of putting a big tree up. I know it's nice to have a big, beautiful oak or something, but maybe find a type of variety that doesn't grow as tall. So, but anyway, that's it. I really think this is a great tip. Now, for you younger millennials that have, what's that box called? The computer. You can go online instead of drawing them out. Okay, a little humor there, a little boomer humor. I'm 57. But, you know, you can even go online and draw out your house and where you want to put all the trees and the bushes and everything. But, you know, my dad, he was a woodsman from Maine, but he really didn't, oh, pine trees. Don't even put pine trees in your yard. Pine trees are beautiful. I love them. They're great when they're on a certain gorgeous golf course in Georgia. They're a real hassle in your yard. You got to clean up the pine needles, the pine cones constantly. After every storm, I clean up over 100 pine cones. Pine needles you can put around bushes. It's not too bad, but you can't put them too thick, or they just get moldy. They don't disintegrate ever unless you have a compost pile. Then you can have them. But in pine trees, those big branches come down. Boy, and they're deadly. They're heavy too. You know, they come down. So I wouldn't even put pine trees up at all. If you want any sort of evergreens, more the firs or the smaller pines, that kind of thing. You know, more the Christmas tree type evergreens as well. Spruce. We had a nice Colorado blue spruce that got a disease and died, which was sad. I really like that tree. It grew here well here in Virginia. I was really surprised. You know, it was actually our Christmas tree, and it grew really well. We had it for years though, and then we planted a Douglas fir that was our Christmas tree too. But it's not doing too well these days. A couple people in workers' uniforms out front working on the road. But anyway, that's it. I just thought, you know, I think it's a really, really strong tip because it can cost you so much hassle and headache, and if you live in areas prone to storms, you know, here on the Virginia coast, that kind of thing. But it's one thing. My dad, he was a Maine woodsman. He wanted to bring in all these trees, you know, that reminded him of Maine. He didn't really think about, you know, he was a good man and he liked all those trees, but he didn't really think about all the cleanup involved. That, you know, now that he's gone, that, you know, I'm doing it every day, you know, that cleanup. So, but anyway, but you know, like I said, there's a trade-off for the beauty versus the hassles as well. But there is a danger too, because one of our neighbors almost got killed during Isabel. Big, huge branch came right through his roof and landed on his bed. Fortunately, he wasn't in there at the time. Well, anyway, that's it. I hope you appreciate these tips. And don't forget I do trivia videos. And we'll see you again. Bye.